Hello everyone, welcome back to all of you in the Smelly Army Private Members Club. So in this week's video I'm going to be looking at 5 hidden gem fragrances. Excuse me if there's a little bit of visual there that you get, or maybe some noise even of passing traffic. As you can see, I'm still living at my mum's place, which is hopefully going to be relatively temporary, but in the meantime, yeah, until I find a new place to live, this is where I am. It's not the easiest situation in the world. The place is not in the best condition. My mum's not very good at cleaning up or tidying or that. I'm not exactly a house proud kind of person, and spends most of the day swearing at the TV, switching between Bargain Hunt and the news. So she's going slightly batty in her old age. So it's a little bit testing for me. Oh, sorry, Mum. I thought you were out. No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't talking about you. It was somebody at work. Yeah, I know I don't have a job now. When I did have a job years ago. Yes, hello, welcome back to all of you in the Private Members Club. So today I'm going to be looking at 5 what I consider hidden gem fragrances, ones that are very rarely talked about in the fragrance community on YouTube or really elsewhere, and that I think are great. One of them was in the unboxing video that we had a couple of days ago on the channel. The rest have had relatively little talk on my channel, if any. So let's see what we're going to kick off with. The first one then, just got this actually today. So is it a bit premature to call it a hidden gem because I haven't done a thorough testing? Mark Robes 08 would not approve. Okay, so this one is Tooseman Sport. Trying to get some good light on the bottle there. And Tooseman Sport, there is an original Tooseman that I've never tried. Tooseman Sport, so far I am absolutely loving this one. You can pick this one up for around about 20 something pounds, under 30 pounds for 100ml, and kind of nice interesting bottle design there. Okay, nothing special, but kind of an interesting shape, quite like that. And the smell on this one, really beautiful citrus freshy type of fragrance. The people who turned me onto it were Greggy Boy 76. Actually, his name is Greg, the man who runs Fragrance Samples UK, and I hope I can now call him a good friend, and he's mentioned it on his channel very favourably. And also Sebastian Jara from Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews, who of course has a huge collection and tends to focus on really expensive niche stuff. So for him to be singing its praises, it must be good. It's in the crux of my arm here, and I've sprayed it on paper too. What a zingy, fresh, amazing, natural smelling fragrance this is. It's a real stunner. Some of the notes I think include, well, the main citrus one that is mentioned a lot is lemon in the listings and reviews. There's aldehydes in here, there's some sort of cedarwood in the base. I'll just talk more about what I smell because I'm finding note listings don't always describe what I get out of the fragrances. So really, really juicy, natural, fresh smelling, to me sort of orange stroke lemon smells. Really like freshly squeezed lemonade, that kind of thing. Very natural smelling, reminded me a little bit of Acqua di Parma's Arancia di Capri. That's an orange themed fragrance. Or what's the Atelier Cologne one? There's an orange sanguine. So that kind of really nice, juicy, natural smelling. Be a great summer holiday fragrance, and I think I'm going to put it in my top 10 summer holiday fragrances video soon. I haven't really tested the longevity, but so far on the basic smell, absolutely lovely. If you like citrus freshies, maybe reminds me a tiny bit of Versace Man Eau Fresh, but I think a little bit more natural smelling than that. But it's got that real, sitting by the pool kind of vibe about it. And Tooseman Sport, therefore, would be an under-the-radar gem for me, although 2 other reviewers have mentioned it. I think it's fair to say it's not widely known that well. Next one up then, I mentioned this once or twice here and there. It's been on Instagram, and I think I mentioned it in an episode of Frag Chat with Smurfy Girly. And this is the wonderful Carthusier 1681. I think I've mentioned it on here maybe once as well before, I can't quite remember. Well, it's worth mentioning it again because it's so good. So this one, sometimes compared to Dior Homme, so it could be seen as the niche version of Dior Homme, because this is Carthusier, the Italian company, and they make some really good stuff from what I've smelled so far. I've tried quite a bit of their line, and this might be maybe my favourite. I picked it up on eBay. It's reasonably okay prices for niche stuff actually in this particular brand's lineup. So a beautiful combination actually of a little bit of citrus freshness, a sort of herbaceous green element which tends to appeal to me, and definitely this very Dior Homme-esque or even Dior Homme Intense-esque note of iris in there. So if you like the Dior Homme line and you're looking, I think it leans towards the fresher end, so it's not so much like Dior Homme Intense or Dior Homme Parfum, leans a little bit more to the original, or even perhaps Dior Homme, I think it's called Dior Homme Low, in that kind of ballpark, but a little bit like if Acqua di Parma maybe made their version of Dior Homme, it might come out smelling something like this. Really, really beautiful, sophisticated, irisy, fresh, masculine. Well, it's pretty unisex actually, this scent, but very, very exquisite. And if you like the sort of old school Acqua di Parma cologne vibe mixed with the Dior Homme iris, and Acqua di Parma don't have a fragrance like that, but Carthusier do, and this is a stunner. So look out for that one. Let me know if you've tried it. I really, really enjoy that. Going to try and highlight that one a little bit more on the channel over on your YouTube, but I wanted to highlight it here today before. So next up, it's going to be the one that I mentioned in my unboxing video the other day, which I've had a couple more days sniffing. What about that bottle? I bought it because I love the bottle so much, actually. I have got the box, but it's over there. It's an eau de toilette. It's called Salvador, by the house of Salvador Dali. I think it was a 1992 release. It's the same year, funnily enough, as Safari for Men by Ralph Lauren, and it does smell similar. It's an eau de toilette splash, as we can see, a very basic kind of bottle, so the liquid just comes out of there. It's so lovely. It's got a lot of oak moss, it's got a lot of lavender, a lot again of green herbal aromatic kind of supporting notes. Definitely an aromatic fougere fragrance. Can't get over how much I love the bottle. Very masculine, a little bit dated smelling undoubtedly, but yeah, close to Safari from Ralph Lauren if you've smelled that one. There's a kind of affability about it. It's not as in your face or polarizing perhaps as old school things from before, like Koros by Yves Saint Laurent, or Ted Lapidus Promise. It's not that in your face and masculine, but it is very masculine smelling. Very much, I think, something people would classify as a barbershop fragrance. And if you can pick it up, this was, I think, £35 for 50ml, so not outrageously expensive. And it really is well worth looking out for that one if you can get a good deal. Often I think it's going to come in a splash bottle, but it's worth the annoyance of the nuisance and inconvenience of that. To check out that if you like old school fougere stroke barbershop type fragrances. Next up then, it's going to be one that I think I've done an Instagram post, but that's it. And this is Sacred by Louis Cardin. So Louis Cardin, a very inexpensive house, although the bottle looks not bad at all. It seems quite well made. The lid's a little bit light and plasticky, but a nice bottle design, I think. And this is an out and out gourmand fragrance. The main thing that I get is a kind of caramelized burnt sugar or toffee type accord. Really, really heavy in vanilla, maybe benzoin. Reminds me a little bit maybe of things like Eau de Missions, the one with the kind of purple label, that inexpensive vanilla fragrance, and a little bit of maybe even Ragbar for Men, the one that comes with a similar kind of juice, and therefore similar maybe in that way to 24 Gold, but with less of the sort of woody oud element and more of the kind of sweet vanilla element of that one emphasized, but a kind of darkness about it, sort of a dark burnt toffee sugar type thing. Bit one-dimensional, but it is a lovely smell. I've sprayed it in the air a little bit, you know, when I want to just make the room smell nice. It's not the kind of thing I tend to wear out very often, but I do really enjoy the smell. I think the prices on that one, I think it's sort of around the £20 range for 100ml. It's Louis Cardin and it's called Sacred. So loving that one. Last but not least, then we're going to have 5 today. This one I have mentioned in the past somewhere on my channel, but I can't remember exactly where. And then I've not mentioned it for ages, so I thought it was time to reiterate my affection for Tonka from the house of Laboratory Perfumes. So I'm well known for liking Gorse by this house, which is more or less a copy of Virgin Island Water by Creed. Tonka is a much more spicy, nighttime smelling and maybe cold weather appropriate type of fragrance. It's very much heavy in patchouli. I think the blurb from the company mentions tobacco, so we think of maybe tobacco and patchouli. Leans a little bit retro to me in the smell. There is a sort of mandarin zesty freshness in the opening as well. Reminds me a little bit in the feel of Givenchy Gentleman from 1974, but only in the feel. It doesn't smell massively like it, but it does share that patchouli note. And a really rich, spicy, kind of classic smelling scent. There is supposedly, I guess, some tonka bean in there, but that isn't the standout note. I think if you like tobacco, patchouli, spiciness mixed with a bit of a kind of mandarin citrusy freshness, this one has a real clout about the performance, which is very, very good and very different from Gorse from Laboratory Perfumes, which I also do rate. And I love the charming kind of laboratory beaker style bottles, simple but effective. does tell you how many mils you've got left, which is kind of handy. And the price is, I think, around the £60-65 mark for 100ml, which is great. It's a niche brand, Laboratory Perfumes. Loving their work. So let me know if you've tried any of those 5 fragrances. I think they're all absolute crackers. And yeah, definitely unsung on YouTube, but let's try and change that, shall we? Let me know what you think about all that in the comments below. Thanks a lot for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video in here and also over on YouTube. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project. Bye-bye.
They made it.